Okay, so we're diving into this foreclosure property today, and wow, this one is something else. Avon Park, Florida, 7,000 square feet, 5 bedrooms, 5.5 baths, a pool, 5 acres of land.
It's a lot to take in.
It really is, and for under $700,000, it sounds almost too good to be true.
Well, there's a reason we do these deep dives, right?
Right.
Rarely as simple as it seems.
Never is. So let's unpack this. We've got the documents you gave us right here, and the story this house tells is something else. Built back in '93, right?
That's right, 1993. And for a good while, it seems like it was the Roquiz family's home. You see that in the paperwork, yeah.
Yeah, it makes you think about the memories, like what went on in those walls.
A lifetime, probably. You see the original warranty deed from 93. Then a few years later, they set up a family trust, looks like. And there are multiple quitclaim deeds in here, too. That's basically how you transfer property ownership within a family. Avoid probate, make inheritance smoother.
Classic family home stuff. Until it all goes, well, not as planned, huh? Because here we are in 2024, and this place is bank-owned because of foreclosure. What happened there?
A million-dollar question, right? The thing is, these types of documents don't usually spell out the reasons for foreclosure.
Makes sense. So what do we actually know about what went down?
Okay, so the last tax record we have on file for the Roquiz family is from 2018. Then by 2019, ownership shifted to this AJX 2019 EREO Corp. It's a subsidiary of Great Ajax Corp.
REO, meaning?
Real estate owned. Basically, the lender, Great Ajax in this case, they own the property now.
6 years between the family maybe last paying taxes and then this corporation taking over. Feels like a long time.
It does suggest something more complicated happened. Foreclosure, it's often a process, not just an overnight thing.
Mm-hmm.
Could have been attempts to resolve missed payments, maybe even a short sale that fell through.
Mm-hmm.
We don't always get to see those details publicly.
Man, I'd hate to speculate, but you can't help but wonder what was going on behind the scenes. This family built a life there, and to see it end like this, it's rough. But let's look at what we do know about the house as it stands today, yeah. And I have a feeling this is where things get interesting. Or maybe concerning is the right word.
Yeah, concerning might be one way to put it. The
I-
damage report doesn't paint a pretty picture. Remember how we were talking about those quitclaim deeds,
Mhm.
like maybe part of the family's plan?
Yeah, planning for the future, inheritance, all that.
Right, well, this report makes you wonder if those plans got interrupted. Because there's some things in here that scream unexpected events.
You mean like the water damage and mold they're talking about? That's not exactly what you want to see.
No, not at all. And it's not just any mold. The report specifically says water penetration and black mold growth between the cinder blocks and sheetrock.
Oh, so it's like not just surface level stuff.
Right, more like a bigger problem hiding underneath,
Mhm.
like that loose thread on a sweater tug on it, and the whole thing might unravel.
Not a good visual. And definitely not a cheap fix either, right?
Yeah.
When you're talking about that kind of mold, especially in a house this big.
Yeah, you're hitting on a major point. Black mold, it's dangerous stuff, needs professional remediation, the whole 9 yards. They'd have to figure out how far it goes, contain it safely, then rip out all the messed up materials. It could be really pricey depending on how deep it goes.
Okay, so we're adding mold remediation to our imaginary budget here, and it sounds like we're just getting started. They mentioned the roof in this report too, right?
They do.
Yeah.
And not in a good way. The document mentions blue tarps, which usually means one thing, water damage.
Mm-hmm.
Potentially from a hurricane by the sounds of it.
Ah, yeah, those tarps are like a temporary fix, right? Just to keep things from leaking more.
Right. But they often hide deeper structural issues. Imagine this. The Roquiz family, maybe they're already struggling a bit financially, and then boom, a hurricane hits. More damage, more expenses. It's tough.
It's heartbreaking, honestly. Like, it's easy to get caught up in all that square footage, picturing yourself living there, but this house has been through a lot. It would take some serious work to bring it back.
That's a really good point. It's easy to get swept up in the fantasy, but that realistic assessment, that's key here. This isn't just a fixer-upper. This is a whole renovation project. And actually, speaking of renovations, we haven't even touched on the lanai yet, which, by the way, is apparently falling apart. Or the pool, which is basically a swamp at this point.
Hold on, back up a sec. A falling apart lanai and a swampy pool. This is less dream home, more like homeowner's nightmare.
Yeah, let's just say, this property has seen better days. To get it back to its former glory, it would take a ton of work and a ton of cash. Landscaping, pool cleaning, maybe retiling, appliances, the list goes on.
Okay, so let's talk bottom line here, because the listing price is $699,900. I mean, that's crazy low for that much house, right? 5 bedrooms, 5.5 baths on 5 acres. But are we talking good deal or we're letting the price blind us to everything else? That's the question, isn't it? Like, it's tempting, right? All that property, that price. But then we've got this mountain of repairs to think about, too.
Weighing those risks and rewards, that's key. That low asking price, it's definitely eye-catching, but it's just one piece of the puzzle. Got to factor in those renovation costs we talked about. Mold remediation alone, that can be a huge chunk of change. Then there's the roof, the lanai, the pool.
And don't forget, over 6 grand a year in property taxes, too. Not exactly chump change. Starting to make sense why this place has been on and off the market since the beginning of 24.
Yeah, that price history, it tells a story. Listed, delisted, price reductions, it all adds up. Potential buyers are probably realizing, whoa, this is way more than we signed up for.
A good reminder that a steal can turn into a money pit real fast. But okay, let's say you're the kind of person, loves a challenge, sees this place, and they're like, I can bring that diamond in the rough back. What advice would you give them?
Due diligence, due diligence, due diligence. Can't stress that enough. This isn't just buying a house. It's an investment. Could be a great one, but it could also go very wrong. So first things first, get a real inspection. And I don't mean a quick once-over. Bring in the experts. Structural engineer for the foundation and roof, mold remediation specialist, pool contractor, everyone.
So basically, assemble an all-star team who can give you the real deal. No sugarcoating.
Exactly. You got to know what you're getting into down to the last detail. How bad's the damage? What's it going to cost to fix? What hidden problems are lurking? Because trust me, with a house that's been vacant this long, there are always surprises.
And not the good kind, usually. Surprises that drain your bank account. Okay, so you've got your team. They've done their thing. What's next?
Time for some honest self-reflection. You've got to look at all that info you gathered and decide, do the rewards outweigh the risks for me? Can I actually afford this, not just the house, but making it livable? Am I okay with maybe finding more problems down the line?
So much to think about. This deep dive has been honestly eye-opening. Really shows you what to watch out for with foreclosed properties. Easy to get caught up in the fantasy, but the reality is this is serious business.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Knowledge is power, right? Do your research, be thorough, but also trust your gut. If something feels off, it probably is. There are other houses out there.
Words to live by, my friend. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, everyone. It's been quite the ride. And if anyone out there is actually thinking about taking on this project, maybe you're the one to bring this house back to life, we've got all the property info linked in the show notes. Happy house hunting.